Most of you know Andy. If you don't know Andy through his comedy, you would have heard him on the radio, you would have read his blogs. Some of you, I think, from his kids' sports team, you know him really well. Some of you might not have actually seen him perform or might not have seen someone perform like this. A live audience, this is where shit gets real. So the only thing that I need you to do tonight is when I say Andy's name, you lose your frickin' shit, okay? Can you do that? Right. I said, can you do that? Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever in the world performing this show, a beautiful human being, a wonderful writer, a very funny man, lose your shit for Mr. Andy Thompson. Come on!
Thank you, Joel. Joel Bryan, everyone. Oh, you should see him work funerals. He's amazing. Thanks for coming out tonight. I've been really excited about tonight's show. I actually had about a new 5-minute bit I wanted to talk about, but I'm not. I'm going to talk about something that happened to me about 2 weeks ago on public transport. It really affected my soul. Some of you who follow me on social media will know what I'm talking about. Some of you who follow TransLink on social media will know what I'm talking about. I caught the bus to work in the morning. I usually catch it at 6:30 and it's empty. There's no one on the bus. But in this case, it was 7:45. It was packed full of people. And I'm like, oh, fucking people. You know, it's just not my place, right? And I sat down the back. I got a seat. I had a phone on me. I put my headphones in and I immersed myself in my world. About 3/4 of the way into the trip, I noticed that the bus was completely packed. There were people up against the window, there were school kids everywhere, and I noticed this disoriented little middle-aged Asian lady walking down the bus, and she looked out of place. She didn't know what to do. She was looking around. I thought, you know what, this is my time. So I said, excuse me, would you like this seat? And she said, thank you, and sat in my lap. Like sat in my lap. Now, I don't like confrontation, and I'll talk about that a bit later. So you know what I did? I fucking sat there. I was the best seat on that bus that morning. And it's not like she was, you know, she wasn't uncomfortable. She was just perched on my knee. She wasn't like leaning into me like I was a lounge chair, like reaching for some cheesels, you know. And I sat there and I looked opposite me and there was a lady there who was turning a bright shade of purple. She was trying to hold in the laughter. And about 2 stops later, she hopped up, patted my knee and said, thank you, and walked off the bus. And I looked over at this lady and she was just pissing herself. I said, did you hear what I said? She said, yeah. She said, would you like the seat? And I went, I didn't say sit in my lap, did I? Because I hadn't had a coffee, so who the fuck knows what I'm going to say, right? And she said she was trying to reach her phone to take a photo of me. Because she said the look on my face was priceless. I said, what do I look like? She said, you look like you had someone sitting on your lap. I'm fear for her now because she probably thinks that's how it's done in Brisbane. You know, she probably is just going, oh, next bus, hello. Oh, this seat's comfier than the last one. No, so thanks for coming. I've been really busy. I've been wanting to do more comedy, but it's hard. I've got a full-on day job, and I've got 2 young kids, 2 lovely boys. I've got a 10-year-old angel called Oliver, and I've got a 6-year-old servant of Satan called Harry. And they're good kids. I love watching that age difference, you know, between the two. My 10-year-old wants to know more about the world. He's asking questions. He's reading books. He's watching documentaries. The little one, the little fat, angry kid, he's just going through life hitting things with sticks. That's all he's doing. Just beating things up with sticks. He's in the backyard the other day. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm hitting a tree with a stick. I said, why? And he goes, because. I live in a constant state of fear with this kid, you know. You know when people speak and you see a set of twins and you always want to ask which one's the evil one? Well, it's just like that, but there's no other twin. Like we've narrowed it down. It's him. Like the other day, we were out in the patio, and he was looking at these fold-up chairs, and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, Dad, are these the same chairs that wrestlers use to hit each other over the head with?" And I didn't thought about that, and I went, "Yeah, they are. Why do you ask, mate?" And he goes, "Oh, no reason." and just walked off. And he watches too much YouTube, and I think that's, obviously it's my fault as a parent. I need to put my foot down. I had these dreams, when I had kids that I was going to read to them every night, and I do, but it kind of got boring. They can read. They get to the stage where they can read. You can do it yourself now, all right? Get any big words, come and see me. And now they're into YouTube, and he's watching documentaries and all that kind of stuff. And I went to the pool with him earlier this year, and he's been a good swimmer, if you can call what he does swimming. It's not. It's just powered, frenzied paddling around in circles. But he can't do the safety float. If you've got kids, you know what that is. Kids need to learn to lie on their back because it's safety, and not drowning is a really cool thing to do. And he could never do that. He couldn't release. He couldn't relax. And then one day in the pool, I just looked past, and there's this little fat dugong kid just spinning down the pool in the sun. I swam over to him and said, "Hey, buddy, you're doing the safety float." And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "How'd you learn how to do that?" He goes, "I just pretend I'm a dead body." I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I just pretend I'm a corpse floating away from a shipwreck." I'm like, "No more YouTube for you." Oh, it's crazy. It really is, It's hard though, because I like to think that I'm a good dad, but deep down I'm just a fucking excited 8-year-old boy. That's all I am, And I've got 2 young boys, and when they get excited, it is bloody contagious. It's like a disease ripping through a West African village. Everyone gets it. It's like, oh my God, everyone goes nuts. Sometimes these jokes are for me. and the boys came up to me the other day, just in a state of excitement. They'd obviously been talking to each other, and they came up and said, "Hey, Dad, can we burn some stuff?" And I said, "Yeah, let's burn everything!" I'm ripping the door off. I look across at my wife. She's like, "No." I'm like, "Not today, boys. Not today." I've done the sums. It takes 1 hour and 37 minutes for my wife to leave me alone with my 2 boys before our house descends into something out of the book Lord of the Flies. She might go to the shops, catch up with some friends, whatever. When she comes home, she'll see the smoke rising over the suburb. And when she drives into the driveway, she'll hear the boom, 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 boom. We'll have a bonfire in the back, doors all ripped off. We'll be dancing around the bonfire with lap-laps made of curtains. Harry's going to have a pig's head on a stick. I'm not going to tell him to get rid of it because I'll be next, I've read the book. I know what happens, man. So, it's contagious. It's hard. Cheers. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But I'm not getting younger. I'm 44 years old, and I've been going through some health problems the last year and a half. I developed a foot issue. It's a pain in my toe. And I told my mates and a whole bunch of people on Reddit what it was, and they're like, "Oh, dude, you got gout." I'm like, "I don't have gout. Gout's a disease that rich, fat, middle-aged men get. And I'm not rich." And I went to the doctor, it's fucking gout. It's gout. It's gout. Do you know what causes gout? Everything delicious. That's what causes gout. You know how you stop having gout? Stop eating delicious things. My doctor was like, "Have you thought about being a vegetarian?" I'm like, "That's a bit drastic. Can't we just cut the foot off?" Yeah. "You can go vegan. Where's the nearest window?" I'm going out. I played in a charity cricket match late last year, and I got heat stroke in a charity cricket match. Do you know how emasculating that is for an Australian man? To get heat stroke playing in a charity cricket. I hadn't even been in the field. I'd been out batting. I'd batted for 3 overs for a 7 not out. And I went back and I had a sausage and bread and half a litre of water, and I went out into the field and suddenly everything got dizzy, went poof, into the grass. Had a trip in an ambulance. Yeah, went to the emergency ward at the QE2 hospital. That was a hell of a ride. It was. ICU is a crazy place. There's some wicked things going on there. And I thought, I'm okay. They put me on some drugs and I started to come to, and I was feeling healthy. And then they checked my family history and found out that we all die. And so they're like, "We're going to keep you in here for another 8 hours. I'm like, "Oh God." So I'm in my cricket whites. I've got zinc on my nose. I've got machines connected to my chest going bing, bing. And they brought in this old lady called Beryl from a nursing home. And she'd had a bit of a turn. and fell down some stairs and was a bit disoriented and had blood on her head and everything like that. And she was sitting next door to me, and I closed my eyes and went to sleep. And then suddenly I just noticed I was being watched, and I opened my eyes and she was at the end of the bed going, "Ah, hello!" And she came over and she started unplugging the machine attached to me, and the alarm went whoop, 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 and all the doctors were like, "He's dying!" And they came running in, and I'm wrestling with this 85-year-old woman with a bloodied head, right? And they've gone, "Oh, come on, Beryl, get back to your room." And they connected me back up. 2 minutes later, hello! And she started ripping the machine. Oh, beep, beep. The alarms went off. Everyone came in. They hooked me back up and they took Beryl back away. And they've gone, "God, this is crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, tell me about it." And I went to sleep. And I had about 10 minutes sleep, and then suddenly I just felt this breath on my cheek. She was right there. She's yanked out all the cords. The machine's gone, whoop, whoop, whoop. The doctors and nurses came running in and said, "This is really annoying." I said, "It is, isn't it?" They said, "Yeah, let's just turn it off." Oh, absolutely crazy. So, yeah, it's been a hell of a ride the last 18 months or so, but I'm really excited about putting on tonight's show. My show last year, Dean's Revenge, I think some of you were there. It was a lot of fun. The crux of that joke, of the show, Dean's Revenge, was about me being mistaken by a lady called Cheryl in a small country town near Murwillumbah for being a member of a Comancheros motorcycle club called Dean. And I love telling that joke, but I can't say it anymore because it's starting to get a little fucking real. I did a gig about 6 months ago, and I did that joke, and I walked off stage, and I was having a beer, and this guy came up to me and he said, "Hey mate, that joke about you being mistaken for a guy called Dean, is that true?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Did that happen in Colac in Victoria?" I said, "No, it happened in Murwillumbah." He goes, "Oh, right. Because I don't tell many people this, but my Uncle Dean used to be in the Comancheros motorcycle club." And I think this guy's pulling my leg, and he starts pulling the photos out. Like, there, and you look like me! Your shaved head! Oh, I can't do that joke ever again. I can't do that joke. I can't. So this show's called The Time I Punched the Stegosaurus to Pluto. It's about telling tall tales. It's about lying. It's about why we lie. I lie all the time. One of the worst things I've ever done, starting out my relationship with my wife, is on our first date, is telling her how good I was at lying. Not that good, establishing a bond of trust, is it? You know, we're at a restaurant, the food came out, and it was really shit food, right? And I didn't complain, because I don't like confrontation, and I've worked in retail long enough to know what happens when you complain about food. It comes back with a little bit more DNA in it, doesn't it? And so I'm eating this food, I'm like, "Look at this, this is crap, this is crap." She's like, "Say something." I'm, "No," and the waitress comes over and goes, "How is everything?" "Oh, it's delicious." "I think we're done now." She's like, "You weren't hungry?" "No." And Michaela said to me, she goes, "Why didn't you say something then?" I said, "Oh, because things will escalate. I'll be suddenly fighting a cook with a ladle, like smashing stuff, because that's what happens, because I would rather lie than get into any confrontation, you know." And we lie. Everyone here in this room has lied. Everyone has. And those who aren't, fucking lying. You know, and we lie for 3 reasons. We lie to promote ourselves, we lie to protect ourselves, and we lie to hurt others. And we get taught to lie at a young age. Our parents lie to us all the time. I lie to my kids every single time. Every single day. You know, "Oh, Dad, the Wi-Fi is broken." "Is it? Is it? Is the Wi-Fi broken?" "Oh, yeah, it must be. I'll call the NBN. Oh." You know, that's what it's like. My mum lied to me when I was a little kid. She told me one thing that stuck in my head until I was 14. She said, "You can do whatever you want to do in life as long as you put your heart and soul into it." And that's a great thing for an 8-year-old to hear. Not so good when you're 14 years old and you're failing maths, you know. Can't be an astronaut, can you? No. Failing maths? No. Maybe be a doctor, but probably not a good one. You know, what's your specialty, Dr. Thompson? "I like to leave forceps behind in people." That's what I do. I'd like to be. I actually entertained the idea of being a doctor, but then I realised how much I found people icky. You know, like I wouldn't like to touch them. I'd just maybe prod them with a stick. "Yeah, this one needs to go somewhere else." You know. I was in the city about 4 years ago, walking back to work from lunch, and a lady, a junkie, let's be polite, she was a junkie, she was walking, she slipped and fell, and she had an epileptic fit right in front of me, and I did the right thing. I jumped into action, and I put a towel under her head, and she was sort of fitting, and then she rolled over, and she was fine. We called an ambulance, and I'm like, "It's going to be okay, it's going to be okay." But I know how to do CPR. I don't want to do CPR. That's like one of the lowest things on my list of things to do is CPR. And especially she had like a bit of drool and she had like cold sores, and I'm like, "Oh God, I don't want to be that guy that did CPR like he was inflating a raft. You know, breathe, damn it! That's not going to work, is it? You know? Like, and my kids lie to me all the time. Both my boys lie, and they're not very good at it, you know? And my youngest, he went through a stage where he just said the truth, whatever popped into his head. Like, he loves dinosaurs. He still does, but when he was 3, he was freaking mad for them. Like everyone is when they're 3 years old. If you draw a graph of the average person's interest in dinosaurs, it starts off at 0 and then goes through the roof at age 3, tapers off, and then over the years it spikes whenever there's a Jurassic Park movie. And then when you have kids, your interest goes through the roof again, because I love dinosaurs. And so do my kids. We all love them. We've all got our favourites, you know. My favourite is Allosaurus. It's like a big T-Rex. It's not your stereotypical dinosaur. Not many people know of it, you know. My wife likes Brachiosaurus. I don't know why, you know. It's not my place to tell her she's wrong. And my youngest kid likes T-Rex, because that's an entry-level dinosaur, isn't it? That's like a gateway dinosaur. Because they're just ridiculous. They've got a big freaking head, little tiny arms, look like a big turkey, you know. He loves them. And he just was absorbed with dinosaur facts. And one day in the car, I wanted to quiz him about this because he was watching and reading books and doing all that kind of stuff. And I said, hey, Harry, how big's a T-Rex? And at the drop of a hat, he just said, big enough. He's not wrong, is he? They're pretty freaking big. Any bigger, they'd be ridiculous. I said, how big are they? He said, they're big enough to eat you up and poop you out. That's how big they are. End of discussion. End of discussion, you know. Like I have a good chat to my kids about, you know, about truth in the house. And they talk about it with each other. And they're sometimes quite forthright in what they say. So the other week, I had an epiphany. I'm 44, my body's falling apart. I had visions of my death being something like really romantic, like me being wrapped around a tree while Wagner's Ride of the Valkyrie plays, I don't know. But instead it's just going to be limbs dropping off randomly. That's how I'm going to go out. I'm going to lose both my feet, then my arms. I'll just be a torso in a bed hooked up with tubes. You know, bring me my iPad, I want to type a letter to council with my tongue. You know? But I had this epiphany that I don't care what people think about me anymore, you know? That's why I'm wearing Denim Frenzy tonight. I don't care. I don't care, all right? It's just, that's what it is. And I was at home, I had to take the kids to the pool, and I thought this is going to be fun. I couldn't find my board shorts, but I found a pair of lime green Speedos. I bought them for a fancy dress party about 20 years ago, and I haven't worn them since. And I put them on, and guess what? They fit. And that's saying less about my physique and more about the elastic properties of Speedos. But I put them on, I'm like, this is amazing! Why haven't I worn these in a while? I grabbed my towel, walked out into the living room and said, righto boys, let's go to the pool. And my eldest son looked at me and he goes, ooh, you look gross. Which I think we can all agree is pretty uppity for a kid that only exists because of a 2-for-1 deal on car spine. That's a story for the ages, isn't it? Yeah. How was I conceived, Dad? Well, you see, your mum had 5 glasses of Stanley Dry Red and was a little frisky after watching a rerun of Dirty Dancing. That's how you came into the world. Nobody puts Andy in the corner. Oh, Christ. Yeah, so he's just fully, you know, he just blurts it out. He blurts it out. And I know that this is not what I wanted to look like when I was 24. If I looked at myself now, I'd be like, oh, fuck, you are gross, you know? And I'm really worried, you know, I'm at that age now where all my friends, they're either having these happy relationships or they're getting divorced. And I really don't want to be divorce. It's like that's the worst thing that could happen to me. I just want to be with my family and my wife. Mainly that's the fear of being lonely, but the fear of joining the dating market at my age. This is not in condition. All right, it's not in the best condition. It isn't. And I've established a bond with my wife. She knows everything about me. You know, she knows what shows I like to watch, the food I like to eat, and that I've got a pathological fear of moths. She knows all of that. And I'd hate to have a date with someone, like our first date, and with a strange woman, and I'm having a conversation with her, we're telling her deep and darkest secrets, and then a moth flies across the table, like flicker, and I go, ah! That's just not good. It's not good, you know. I reckon me entering the dating market at this age would be like a middle-aged man from Redland Bay trying to sell a computer on Gumtree. You know, like a computer he bought in 2004. He has no idea of the resale value. Yeah, $2,000, mate. Yeah, it doesn't work that well. You got to give it a kick. And the keyboard's filled with pubic hair and cheesel crumbs. Yeah. Yeah, I got a vivid imagination, hey. It's crazy. So we lie. We lie all the time. I learned to lie as a young kid like that because I moved around a lot. My dad moved from town to town, country to country. I went to 8 schools in 12 years. Not because I was like the kitten strangler or anything like that. I was a nice boy. I liked cats. But I moved from small country town to the middle of the United States of America, and that's a hell of a rush for an 11-year-old going over there because everything's crazy over in America. And the kids are equally just amazing. And I was the flavour of the month for about 6 weeks. Everyone came up to me going, say it again. Hello. Oh my God! Listen to his accent. And these people just wanted me to read off shopping lists, you know. What does that sign say? Stop. Ah! And they thought I was great. But then the novelty disappeared, you know. And I started to get bullied. I started to get bullied by a bunch of guys. And one of them was, the ringleader, his name was Brad Smith. And he was an absolute prick of a kid, right? This guy used to pick on me. We had to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm not sure if you know much about the Pledge of Allegiance. People say America's a lovely place. It's a bit of a cult. Pledge of Allegiance, you go walk to school, you sit down at your desk before you even learn anything, you stand up, put your hand on your heart and you pledge allegiance to the flag. And to an 11-year-old Australian boy, it's like, what the fuck? And they're like, stand up, you arsey! And so I stood up, but I didn't put my hand on my heart. And so I got beaten up after school, every day for about a week. And then I just snapped. It was a cold November afternoon. These guys ganged me up and they were just about to give me a bit of a drilling. And I just snapped and I started ripping my clothes off. It was about 5 degrees. I had my shirt off and I went full Australian, right? I did. I was 11 years old. I knew the words existed. I knew it. I was like, stone the crows, mate, and fucking galalas, go to fucking meat pie, punch you in the noggin, you drongo. And these guys like, whoa, oh my God. Let's leave him alone. So they left me alone, and I was kind of part of their group. But I was on the outer, and they were into breakdancing. Like, this is the mid-'80s. And so I was into breakdancing. I thought breakdancing was a lot of fun. I was really shit at breakdancing. Every day at lunch, the guys would come out and put their cardboard box down on the concrete, and they'd all do the around it. And then it'd be like, my go, and I'd go, dunk, and fall over. And they'd be like, get away. I wanted to be a breakdancer. I wanted to be cool. And I convinced my mother into buying me this breakdancing outfit. It was vinyl and black, and it had zips down the pants, and you could undo the zips, and it would flare out like bright red. And I used to practice that. I'd be down in the basement, and at my finishing move, I'd try and do a backspin, and then I'd do like the helicopter, but I could never do the helicopter. I'd just sort of fail halfway around, and then I'd jump up and go, zip, I was a breakdancing king, right, in my own mind. I never had a chance to show these skills off because my mum wouldn't let me wear the vinyl suit to school. But I had an opportunity. I was doing a school project. We had to learn about medieval times, right? And the more work you did, the more extracurricular work you did, the more higher up the hierarchy you went. So people that did a lot of work became lords, princes, kings and queens. Those who didn't do any work became peasants. I was a peasant. And I hated it. They said, as a peasant, we got an end of semester dinner. You have to serve everyone mead. I'm like, mead? And I thought, well, actually, it's spiced apple juice. I'm like, oh, gross. And so I had to do this, right? I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to be a peasant. But there was an out. They said, we've got a call for court jesters. I said, I could do that. I could just get up and just go, how you going, guys? Go full Australian. They'd be like, this guy's a genius. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I started to think, that's not going to cut it, you know. I'll teach myself how to juggle. And I did. I taught myself how to juggle 2 balls, which is a bit of an insult to the good jugglers out there, because essentially all I did was pass the balls back and forward from one hand to the other. But I didn't prepare. I didn't do anything. And suddenly the big school banquet came around, and everyone dressed up in period costume. I dressed up in my vinyl pants and my vinyl jacket, because Mum said it's a special occasion. I was the only kid just in black vinyl. Everyone's got robes on and stuff. And we're out there, and all the lords and kings and everyone's there, and they're eating bits of chicken, and I'm walking around filling up their glasses with this spiced apple drink, which got all over my jacket and was really sticky. And then they said, time for the jesters, jester number 1. And I looked, and one of these girls came, and she had the fucking hat on and the shoes, and she was all, hey, nonny, no. I'm like, oh, shit. And then they said, jester number 2. And the second jester came out dressed exactly the same, and he had 4 tennis balls in his hands. And he started juggling 4 tennis balls, and I'm sitting there looking at these 2 tennis balls. And I was hopelessly underprepared. But I had to go through with it. Like, jester number 3, and I popped up like a prize fighter, went out and started juggling, lost all motor skills, dropped the tennis balls everywhere. So I went full slapstick. I started just going, whoa, Stone the Crows, Drongo. And I started running around, and then to no music. There was no music. I just started breakdancing, right? To no music. The only sound you could hear were the slaps my arms were making on the concrete. And then I thought, I've got to finish this, right? It's been going on for 2 minutes and people are just going. So I thought, I'm going to do the helicopter and it's going to fucking work. Because I had my vision like an 80s, you know, one of those comedy films, and right at the end the little geek gets up and he does the move and the girls go, oh my God, and they come over and they hug him and he has his first kiss, and I had these romantic visions in my head. And so I've gone, oh, and I thought I could hear people going, he's going to try it, he's going to do it. And I've gone in and I've jumped in and I've spun, and I spun my legs up all the way up high, and then I slammed myself down so hard I hit my groin into the concrete so hard that I knocked myself out. And I came to about 5 seconds later just going, to complete silence. And then Americans are absolutely awesome people, because then I could hear it, woo! Up the back, yeah! Guys, and they started clapping and they all stood up, and I'm like holding my balls going. My teacher came over and picked me up and carried me off. I put an ice pack down my groin. And from then on, Brad Smith was friends with me. And I used to go over to his house and we'd have we'd play, all kinds of games on his Atari. And it was awesome. And after 3 weeks, he said, man, it's really good that we're friends. I didn't think I'd be friends with someone like you. I said, thanks, mate. What do you mean by someone like me? Like Australian? He said, no, mentally disabled. Turns out the rumours all the parents were talking that I was a little disabled boy from Australia. That's why they clapped. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. Give me an R. No, it's absolutely crazy. So I moved from America to New Zealand, and that was a different kettle of fish. Because I moved to this school and I got bullied again straight away by these big Kiwi boys. And so I've done the whole fucking flaming heck, drongo, punch, and they're like, oh, fuck, this bro's crazy. Or whatever. Yeah. Oh, absolutely ridiculous. It is. And I loved my boarding school times in New Zealand. It was kind of cool. I got bullied by a kid. His name was Michael Matsis, and he was the worst kind of bully because he was great at everything. Most bullies have a weakness. They're either like dumb, or they're just really bad at something. They're just socially inept idiots. And this guy was like the champion of grade 8, and his brother was in grade 11, and his brother was like the best rugby player ever. And so I just copped it from this dude, and he learnt jiu-jitsu, so you couldn't even fight back, because you'd be like, yeah, and have a swing, and suddenly your arm's over here. You're like, what happened? I couldn't do anything with him. But we were in boarding school together, and I hatched this plan, right? I knew it. I had over about 2 weeks, I thought about this plan. So Michael Massis used to bite his fingernails. So his mum gave him that little lotion you put on. You've guys seen it? Lotion that tastes really bitter. My mum tried it with me, and I quite liked it. Probably explains why I like gin so much now. Thanks, Mum. And so I knew about this, so I lay in bed one night. At about 11 o'clock, I hopped up. And I went down to our little, study area where everyone's desks were. I grabbed his vial of liquid, and I painted every single pencil in every single person's pencil case, including mine. The only person who didn't get it painted was Michael Matsis. And I waited, and it was like the whole day I was like, can't wait to do homework! It's gonna be so much fun! And we've gone down to do homework, and I'm sitting there just pretending to do geometry, like looking around the room. And then it started, you hear this guy go, oh, yuck. Oh, yuck. And then suddenly everyone's licking pencils, right? Like, try this one, try this one. And they've gone over to Michael Matz and ripped his pencil case open because everyone knew he had the bitter stuff, licking his pencils. And he got the shit beaten out of him. And he was no longer my bully. He added me on Facebook 5 years ago. So I sent him a message and I said, do you remember you got beaten up for having that nail polish liquid on your pens? I did it! 30 years old, revenge is a dish best served on Facebook. Oh, it is absolutely crazy. So, look, I lied. I used to go through school telling a lot of stories, trying to be a person that people looked up to. When I came back to Australia, I got stuck into high school, and everyone was, the fads that go through schools that just take off like wildfire. I got really caught up in those. Like kids would come to school and go, "You heard of marbles?" Wow! And then 2 days later, everyone's got marbles. And then some teacher trips on a marble and hits their head and they're like, we're getting rid of marbles, they're banned. And 2 days later, someone goes, have you seen a yo-yo? A week later, everyone's got fucking yo-yos going everywhere. I could never do yo-yos. I'd do around the world and in their head, But I had something up my sleeve. I thought, I'm going to be the next trendsetter. My grandparents had bought me a boomerang. It was a genuine boomerang. It was from China and everything. It was awesome. The best thing about it was that it returned. So I went to school. It's like, g'day everyone, how you going? Like, what do you got in your pocket, mate? I got a boomerang. Oh, is that just a stick? No, watch this. And there was like, ooh! Everyone just lost their mind. The next day, people came together with like rulers taped together. I'm like, no, mate. Into the ground. I'm like, everyone was like, this guy's amazing. And the word got out after about a week that I was pretty much top shit in terms of boomerang skills. One of the kids in class, Jeremy Richardson, his dad was a real arsehole. My dad hated him as well. He was just one of those guys that perpetually just wore stubby shorts everywhere. I'd be middle of winter, he'd be like, I'm just wearing shorts, with one nut hanging out. It's like, He had a big ruddy red face. His son came up to me at lunch and he goes, I got a boomerang. My dad built mine. I'm like, do you put two sticks together, dickhead? He goes, no, you wait and see. Come down to the park later on this afternoon. We'll have a boomerang off. And the word spread around, like 100 kids just turned up, and I'm just there with my boomerang. His dad backed the ute in. He had a boomerang, it was about 1 metre long on each arm. And he pulled up and he was like, hey, Thompson will show you how a real man throws a boomerang. I'm like, ding, ding. That's how you do it. He goes, step back. He picked up this boomerang and into the ground, realised he had to take about a good 10-step run up with this thing. It was that big. He's like running and going, whoa, and this thing just took off. Just went, wakata, just into the distance. And everyone's just like, wow. And it went, wakata. And some of the smarter kids in class, some of the ones that knew more about geometry, started going, and he's like, what are you running away for, Thompson, you pussy? And this thing just went, waka, came in at about shin height, dogs yelping, kids running, hit his dad in the leg, he went down, and the next day, we're banning boomerangs are banned. You guys heard of handball? Yeah, it was absolutely crazy, man. There's small towns like that. Things take off like wildfire, We got chicken salt once. The day we got chicken salt was one of the greatest days. Rumour spread around. I was sitting there and some kid just ding on the door. What do you want? They've got a different kind of salt at the fish and chip shop. It's called chicken salt. Got chicken salt! And the whole town's going down there to have a taste. Like, what does it taste like? What's it made of? It doesn't even taste like chicken. Everyone loved it. They had a chicken salt shortage. People were writing letters to the fish and chip shop, never shopping here again. They're like, good luck, we're the only fucking shop in town. Absolutely crazy. We do tell lies though. We tell lies to benefit ourselves, don't we? My wife and I had an incident, and she was about 8 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant, I think. She had cravings, and that's fine. Cravings are good. Cravings are immediate. Cravings need to be sated straight away. It was a Sunday afternoon, about 2 o'clock. We're driving back from the Gold Coast, going through Nerang. She put her hand on my leg and said, honey, I feel like a vanilla slice. I said, that's cool, baby, but we're in the rang. It's not so good if you want pastry, good if you want meth, you know? And she's like, I don't think you understand the predicament here. I want a fucking vanilla slice. So we went to a bakery in Nerang, right? We walked in, and the only thing in the whole cabinet at 2:30 on a Sunday afternoon was a vanilla slice. Just sitting like, oh, when we walked in. My wife's like, I want that, go and get that. I went, cool. And I went up, and there's this little pudgy kid, about 16 years old, behind the counter. I said, can I get that vanilla slice, mate? And he looked down, and he went, that's not a vanilla slice. I said, what? He said, that's a Neapolitan slice. It's a bit different. I said, I don't care. My wife wants that. He goes, yeah, but you're not going to like it. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, if you're expecting a vanilla slice, but you get a Neapolitan, you're going to be disappointed. I'm like, stop trying to fucking talk me out of a sale, mate. Take my money. And then it started to dawn on me that little bloke, he just wanted that for his afternoon snack. He'd been eyeing it off all afternoon. And so we're haggling. I'm like, he goes, it's got a different layer of pastry and then the custard. And I go, but it's still a custard, a vanilla slice. He goes, yeah, but it's got the icing on top. And we're having this haggle. My wife just leans across the counter and goes, put the fucking slice in the bag, buddy. No one gets hurt. You know, she had a craving once. She was 8 months pregnant. She goes, I really feel like a steak from a steakhouse. And Brisbane's got some fantastic steakhouses. We didn't go to one of those. Went to one of those restaurants that pretends to be American, that no longer exist, I won't name it. But they've got like hubcaps and everything on the wall, and it's kind of weird. We sat in there, we got the meal, and it was disgusting. It was really bad. Like my gravy was grey, and it moved of its own accord around the plate. It's like some sort of amoeba, just sort of there. I was just poking it. You know, the waitress came over halfway through, goes, how's your meal? I'm like, delicious. And you know, I was sitting there looking at it, and we ate our meal. It was disgusting. She only ate half of hers. I said, let's get out of here. Just wait for someone to bring us the bill. And then we looked around. We were the only people in the restaurant. It was like a Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock. We're like, hello? Hello? Every now and then you see someone in a uniform going at high speed down the back. I thought, I'll go and stand up by the counter. And I went up and stood with my credit card. I have money. Hello? Hello? Shit, go sit back down again. And we were there for half an hour. No one had even taken our plates away. And then my wife said to me, how about we just fucking go? I've never done a runner in my life. I said to her, right on. But we've got to do this carefully, right? We just got to get up and walk out the door slowly, like we've just paid. And if someone stops us, we just go, well, we get all indignant, all right? We escalate. We escalate the confrontation. Yeah, fucking drongo, fucking fight you! You know, that kind of... And so we've gotten up, and she's got a belly there, and she's like, We're like a lord and lady walking through Texas Lone Star, whatever it's called. And we walked out the front door, and the minute we got out the front door, I'm like, run, woman, run! She's holding a belly, running down there. That's when I realised I was turning into my father, because there were plenty of parks near the entrance. Guess where I parked? Just down the back there's a really good park under a tree. It's really good. It's 800 metres away. It's running through. I'd make the shittest getaway driver in the world, wouldn't I? Yeah, being robbing a bank. Tomo, where's the car? You wait till you see the car park I got, mate. Oh, it's absolutely crazy. Oh, time's flying. No, it is. It's just really weird how we do tell lies. I try and be more healthy. I'm lying to myself. I've just had a sip of beer, didn't I? That's not fruit juice. It says mangoes. Yeah, it's I try and be healthy, but I can't, and it's just like the one thing I'm really working on. I've got to bite the bullet and get into a habit, but I can't. I joined a gym once. I'm still a member somewhere. No, I joined a gym in the city, and it was really good because the gym was right next to my work, and I had this habit. I'd go to the gym and go to work. It was great. It was on the way. But then I moved work across to South Brisbane, and when I had to quit, have you ever quit a gym? It's like breaking up with a needy partner, isn't it? It's like you expect the gym manager outside your bedroom window a week later, you know, writing your initials in a love heart out of body fluids on your window. You know? I went in there, I said to the lady at the reception, I said, I'd like to quit, thanks, I don't want to come to the gym anymore. And she went, oh, that's so sad. I'm like, I'm just quitting a gym. And she said, I'll hook you up with an interview with the manager. I said, what? She goes, yeah, you have to have an exit interview. I said, I just want to quit the gym. I want to stop paying money to go to this gym. She goes, no, you have to go through, it's part of our policy. I'm like, oh my God. So I met up at the gym and I sat down and this lady's like, are you leaving? Oh, So, sir. You know? And then she started to shame me. Are you happy with your progress? I'm like, lady, I've been going to the gym for 3 years. I've lost 200 grams. That's fucking progress. Leave me alone. And she said, can I ask you why you're leaving the gym? And it's that point where I should have just said, oh, I'm moving to South Brisbane, don't want to go to the gym anymore because it's too hard, it's out of the way. Instead I said, I'm moving to Argentina to raise alpacas. Inside my head, my brain's like, oh, you fucking idiot. And she's like, whereabouts in Argentina? I love Argentina. I said, oh, on the outskirts of Buenos Aires. And she went, oh, I love Buenos Aires. It's so good. I've got to give you a list of restaurants to go to. I said, I'm going to be pretty bloody busy raising alpacas, lady. I kept bumping into her in the mall. She'd be like, are you back from Argentina? Oh, yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, alpacas and I don't... Yeah, they spit. Do you know they spit? It's absolutely crazy. So I need to get healthier, right? I need to get healthier. I don't smoke. Have we got any smokers in the room? Just give me a yell. Yeah. Look, it's one over there. He's not yelling out because emphysema. But I'm not being mean to smokers. I think smokers are wonderful people. They're resilient, aren't they? They're fast turning into one of the most persecuted, minority groups in society today. Smokers. Smokers just be out having a dub on the corner of the road. Someone will walk past through the smoke, go, oh, that's disgusting, and the smoke go, oh, get fucked. It's just. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. If you want to smoke, smoke. There isn't a smoker around who isn't aware that smoking is bad for you. You're not like, oh my God, really? I thought they put pictures of lungs on there just for, I don't know, shits and giggles. Because I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and everyone smoked back then. My mum and dad smoked. My dad used to smoke while building Lego together. And every now and then he'd just blow smoke in my face to make me cough. He'd go, ha ha ha! Gotcha! I'd be like, good one, Dad. 4th time today. That's a new record. You do that now, you'd go to jail, wouldn't you? Can you imagine that horrible predicament? Being in jail, opposite some big, dude in an orange jumpsuit with tats up his neck. What are you in here for, mate? I raped 3 women and robbed a 7-Eleven. What about you? I blew smoke in a kid's face. You sick bastard. And that's the thing. The anti-smoking lobby's nearly won. They've nearly out. Smoking is so socially unacceptable. No one really does it anymore. They're going to start focusing on other things. Like I've already started focusing on alcohol. They're making that whole dry July, October thing really popular. Well, get stuffed. I hate it. I really do. I've got a lot of friends that do dry July, and it just comes across as just really wanky. They're like, I'm giving up alcohol for a whole month. I'm like, do you need that to live? Because I do. I'm just out drinking with girls, going to have some soda water. You're like, yeah, cool. I don't think you should be able to be a worthy participant in dry July unless you've bought a bottle of cask wine, unless you paid the rent. That's it. I stuffed that completely up, didn't I? That's all right. These things happen. I'm glad it's being filmed. I'm glad it's being filmed because not only will I be able to watch that back on the TV, I'll be replaying that in my mind for the next year. No, dude, the whole dry July, the whole October thing just grinds my gears because one day you'll be at like a barbecue and you just crack a beer down the back, you go and open it up and everyone go, oh my God, that guy's drinking. That bald, sweaty man's drinking a beer, oh my God. Doesn't he know he could get drunk? Doesn't he know he could get an inflated sense of self-esteem and dance better? Oh my God. And then one day when they do that, they're going to start focusing on foods that are bad for us. And they've already started that. Like, I love cheese, man. I fucking love cheese. I'm a 3-pack a day kind of dude, It's going to be horrible the day when I'm being judged for buying cheese. Like, go to your favourite corner store and buy a block of cheese, and you turn it over on the back, and there's like a really graphic photograph of some cholesterol-choked dude doing a poo. You're like, oh. I got the poo cheese. What have you got? Oh, I've got the gout at 44 years old cheese. Oh. And you go to your favourite Italian restaurant, but you won't be able to sprinkle, Parmesan cheese on your pasta. But if you can, you have to eat it in a segregated area like a criminal. Like, nom, 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 nom. Don't you judge me, And it's just going to cause a whole bunch of, when they finally outlaw cheese, it's going to cause a whole bunch of backyard cheese labs. They're going to spring up in Goodna and Woodridge, made by meth-addled chefs called Darren and Steve-O, using ingredients we don't want to eat, you know. I'm not ready to eat fromage de cat. Or sprinkle pig cheddar on my pasta. You know? It is. It's going to be horrible. We're going to have all these junkies outside Central Station. Well, more so. But they're going to be really fat. Just walking around shuffling, going, "Oh, mate, you got any fucking money for the train?" "Totally not going to spend it on cheese, mate." "Nah, mate, I'm off the cheddar. I've been fucking on singles since then, eh?" It is. Yeah. You know, the other thing that gets me too is how we lie. Australians lie all the time about our wildlife, don't we? We tell everyone in the world our wildlife is the most dangerous in the world. It's not. It's not. It's no more dangerous than other people. The thing is with our wildlife is if you apply common sense, you're going to be okay, all right? You don't go swimming in shark-infested waters. You don't go swimming where there's a sign, there's a croc attack. You don't go walking and see an octopus with blue rings and go, "Oh, look at my new hat." You know. You don't do that. You don't do that. And sure, there were some teething problems in the early 1800s when people just got fucking eaten. That's okay, they learned. What happened to Darren? Oh, he went swimming in the creek and got eaten by a crocodile. A crocodile? Better put a sign up. "Don't swim there. I'll be in the pool." You know, that's what it's going to be like. Yeah. You tell Americans that and they lose their mind. They go, "Oh my God, you just get eaten in Australia." I'm like, you guys have got crazy stuff in your woods. You know, you could just be having a picnic in the forest and you could get eaten by a bear or a mountain lion or stabbed by a Trump supporter. Anything could happen. That's a low-hanging fruit joke, isn't it? That joke's a potato. It's not a low-hanging fruit, it's a fucking potato. But no, that's what they do that, and you tell them that, you know. I know that I could go bushwalking tomorrow in Binnaburra in the Gold Coast hinterland, and there's only a 1% chance that I get eaten by a bull shark. I say that because there's always a chance, right? That's when nature fucks with you. What happened to Andy? He got eaten by a bull shark at Binnaburra. Binnaburra! Better put a sign up. You know, I saw some tourists up at Proserpine a couple of years ago. I was up there for work and I had a bit of time to kill and I went to a waterfall at a national park and it was pretty cool. You know, it was a nice waterfall, but when I was walking back to the car, I heard laughter. I heard a whole bunch of people laughing and I walked up and there was a group of backpackers. You know, you run-of-the-mill backpackers. These ones were the good-looking backpackers, you know. The ones that make you think Hitler maybe had a good idea. Maybe, I don't know. Again, some of these jokes are for me, not just you. But they're crowded around this goanna, right? And this goanna is a national park goanna. And these things are jacked as hell. Like this thing had muscles on muscles. Like its diet had consisted of discarded chicken McNuggets and used condoms. It was just like, "Argh! Full of protein!" You know, it's just walking around. And these guys are all crowded around this goanna, all looking at this goanna, and they must have seen the horrified look on my face. I was like, at them. And they looked at me and they said, "Hello, can we pat it?" I am a little ashamed of what I said next. Because I said, "Sure. You can pat it." Because you can, can't you? They're physically there. From a physical point of view, you can reach out and pat a goanna. Doesn't mean you should. There is not a bone in my body that looks at a goanna and goes, "Oh, so cute. I'm going to give it a little pat." That's not me. So I was like, yeah, go ahead, pat it. Hop in my car. I could still hear the screaming. I checked the news the next day. There was no one killed, so I guess they just put a sign up. And there we go. Don't pat the goannas, you know. I learned from a young age, as an Australian kid, not to go near goannas. Because I lived in central Queensland. And my dad told me this thing about goannas. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this before, but they say, if you go and scare a goanna, it'll think you're a tree. And it'll run up your body and sit on your head. You know, I think back now and I go, maybe not. But when you're 8-year-old, you go, "Oh, fuck no. I don't ever want to have a lizard as a hat." My sister and I were walking home from school one day. She's 10, I was 8, walking through the nature strip near, and she went, "Oh, there's a goanna." And I went, and just hit the deck. We're just lying on the ground, just in the dirt, just lying down there. "Is it gone?" "I don't know." My sister was popping up every 15 minutes to look. "It's still there." Me, I was like a baby deer. I was just like perfectly still. You know, to this day, we think it was a stick. It probably wasn't even a goanna there, but we lay in the sun for 2.5 hours, just in the dirt. We got home and Dad's going, where have you been? I said, we're walking home from school and there was a goanna. And he goes, what did you do? I said, we lay in the dirt for 2 hours, Dad. And he went, and you know what? I heard him laugh like that and I thought, he's just so happy we're safe. And then I had kids. And I've told my sons that. You see, go in and hit the fucking deck, mate. You get a lizard as a hat. You don't want that. You know? It's one of my dad's lessons. My mum had a couple of good lessons too. She gave me a pair of walkie-talkies for Christmas, and they were really cool. Like, they worked too, as long as you're in the same room as the other person. They were awesome. You could say, hello, over. That's all, for about 2 weeks, that's all you could hear. My mum like, shut up. Get in the same room. Can you hear me? Of course I can hear you. You know, it was just like that. And then one of them broke. And we just had this other walkie-talkie. The best thing about it was if you tuned it right and had it leaning up against the side of the house, you could hear the truck drivers talk all around the Mackay region. And you hear these guys, and they used to blue talk and just swearing. It was fantastic. We're like, oh, he said poo. Oh. And then I had some friends over and I was showing them this. I was like, check this out. We're listening to truck drivers. And they're like, that's really cool. And I just had this urge to do it. I picked up the walkie-talkie, clicked the talk button. I went, mayday, mayday, mayday. My plane's about to crash at Mackay Airport. And put it down. My friends went, boom, gone. And that's when I went, oh, fuck, what have I done? The police are going to find me. They're going to track that walkie-talkie 280 kilometres inland on a good day, and they're going to take me away to jail. For 3 weeks, every time a car went past, I'd just be like... I even hid the walkie-talkie, and I fessed up to my mum. I told her that. She's gone, that's a very valid concern. And then she used it. She'd be like, stack the dishwasher. I don't really want to. Is that a Commodore going past? I'm stacking it, Mum! I'm stacking it! I got a new watch and it keeps telling me to do exercise. It just told me to go up more stairs. I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. Look, I'm going to finish very shortly. I just want to take this opportunity to say thanks to Adam from Bris Funny Fest. Yeah, big round of applause. Bris Funny Fest is an independent comedy festival in Brisbane. It's a really cool opportunity for people like me to get up and talk about our most crippling insecurities. There's a heap of shows. There's a heap of shows after, well, not tonight, God, no, this is us. For the rest of the week, it's awesome. Go and see them. I want to thank my wife, who's just eye-rolling in the back because she's heard all of these stories. Thanks a lot, Mickey, babe. Love you. And I want to thank these guys for putting on an awesome venue, yeah? Big round of you. It's cool. So we've got a dog in our family. She's a lovely dog, but she's 12 years old. And my wife and I are starting to think about what happens when she goes. And it's something that's going to really hurt, you know, because she's been with us for 12 years. She's been an amazing part of the family, but she's a border collie, and I think I want a dumber dog next time round. I think I've hit the limit, like, on dog intelligence, you know. I want to get a dog that knows less about the stock market than I do. You know, I want a dog like my neighbour. My neighbour's got a dog. It's like a cross between a Staffy, a Labrador, and a wheelie bin. He'd be kicking a football in the backyard. It's like, hey, you guys got a ball? I'm coming. Gadoosh through the fence. Where's the ball at? You know, I want a dog like that. I want a stupid dog. Because our dog's a border collie. I can't play with my dog in the manner I want. I can't make my dog fake run. You know when you pick up a ball and you go, you want the ball, you want the ball, you want the ball, and you throw it and you hide it behind your back? And your dog just runs off and you go, ha ha, stupid dog. Makes you feel good, makes you feel superior. I can't do that. I can't do that to my dog because I go, you want this, you want this, throw it, and she just stares at me. Throw the fucking ball, dickhead. I do your taxes, mate. You know? It was a bit of a rocky relationship with my dog when she was a puppy. She attacked me. It was really vicious. Actually, it was a pretty serious attack. And a lot of people think, you know, why would you have a dog when you've got 2 young kids? But it wasn't really her fault. You know, she was 12 weeks old. I was coming home from work. It's before we had kids, and we were going out to a function. It was great, you know, just really looking forward to Friday night because we had a life. And I came home, my wife's like, the cab's going to be here in 20 minutes, jump in the shower, I'll iron your clothes, I love you, and I'm stripping my clothes off, I'm running up and down the hallway with, here's my pants, here's my shirt, and my dog, my 12-week-old border collie puppy thought this was a fantastic game. Chase the naked, sweaty ball man. She's like running next to me, I'm like, g'day, she's like, ah, at me. And we've gone into the room, I've turned around, and that's when she did it. she saw something she'd never seen before. And with almost supernatural cat-like ability, she jumped up and latched onto my scrotum. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a 12-week-old border collie puppy swinging off your genitals, ladies and gentlemen, but I have. And let me tell you, when that happens, shit gets real. The weird thing was there was no pain. There was no immediate pain, just a weird tugging sensation in the scrotal region. And I looked down and I saw my dog, this beautiful black and white dog, staring back at me. You know, her big brown eyes, her little black nose, and my balls in her mouth. And the minute we made eye contact, she did this. And I did the only thing that any man in this room would do. I punched that fucking puppy as hard as I could. I punched that dog. Unfortunately, my eyes were blinded with pain, so all I succeeded in doing was punching myself really hard in the dick. I went down screaming. The dog's yelping. My wife comes running into the room. She's going, "What the fuck is going on here?" And that's a hard thing to explain. Just lying on the floor, holding my genitals, going, "Ah, ah." And she's going, "What happened?" I went, and I opened my hands and there was blood. My dog had caused me to bleed in my nether regions. I'm like, "Oh, I got blood on my balls." Ah. And she just reached down and she stroked my head. And she said, "It's going to be okay, baby. I'll take care of everything." And she left the room what felt like 6 hours. Just me and my mangled genitals, the dog just creeping over to lick me. I'm like, "Yeah, finish me off. I don't want to live." And then my wife came back in and I saw two things, ladies and gentlemen. I saw two things. The first thing I saw was the massive grin on her face. And the second thing I saw was the bottle of Dettol. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you. Stick around and have a few beers.